coming out from RNG. And it is going to the Bart and Jin pickup here coming in for the... Well, let's see if they do lock it in. Highly unlikely. Well, there's a possibility. As I mean, they picked up their jungler and their AD carrier and supports.
Amazing J loves Darius. Heading into Worlds last year when Amazing J was on the EDG lineup. Played it against Darius. Darius was a Darius.
And he's actually going to lock it in.
Said I got smashed. And that, once again, was where his love for Darius was born. So shout out to North American top laner Darius.
Darius causing Amazing J possibly to pick up Darius here. I think it's probably the first time we've seen it played, the split in the LPL. And he's going to be taking the one up against Looper, it seems, as the Trundle has been picked up as their top lane pick. You know, Brom was locked in, so not flexing on over to the support position. And Twisted Fate was the other pick that came in for IMA here. So they're coming out guns blazing here. Jin, Darius, Twisted Fate thrown into the same team comp.
It's a fun composition. I mean, it relies a lot on the bottom lane to engage even. I mean, you're looking at either Bard, Hail Mary, or the Jin ultimate to kick things up. Of course, a huge slow on that one, but follow-up is there and a heck of a lot of damage.
Everyone on the side of the IMA lineup does massive amounts of damage in comparison to other champions in their respective positions. Even Bard slapping people with meeps for lots of damage in these team fights. RG though, they're going to lock in LeBlanc as their final pickup to go into the mid lane against the Twisted Fate.
Yeah, not taking the teleport this time around. The cleanse currently on Xiaohu. Just respecting the gank pressure that is going to be there. Twisted Fate plus any of the big three junglers right now is instant kill pressure, and Xiaohu doesn't want to be on the receiving end.
Did take that cleanse, so going to be able to escape some of the gold cards that could potentially be thrown out by Bamey here in the mid lane. But this is a very interesting team comp, or a cute team comp you could say, coming out from IMA here with Darius, Kindred, Twisted Fate, Jin, and Bard. That's a lot of damage coming out from IMA's lineup.
Yeah, it certainly is. As I said, the only thing you would really look at is like, how do they initiate a team fight? Jin Zhao going to have to be on point where he sets up to be able to get the long-range snipes. And a Voidless needs to get really busy, especially on the top side of the map. If you do not snowball this Darius, very little reason to pick it up.
Well, let's see if they can do just that as we head on to the Rift for game number 2 between RNG and IMA.
We come and we go.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the English broadcast of the Chinese LPL as we head straight into game number 2 between IMA and RNG. And we're going to see Darius taking to the Rift here up against the RNG lineup. Amazing J going to be playing that champion one more time here on Summoner's Rift.
So the story goes that EDG headed into scrims versus TSM. As we have a brief pause, so I get even longer to tell this story now. So EDG head into scrims versus TSM going into last year's Worlds. And that was when Fiora had just been reworked. Everyone thought Fiora was incredibly potent. And Darius had just been, I guess, the Juggernaut patch had just come out. And everyone was like, all right, this Darius guy, he's pretty good. But Fiora can beat him because he can get inside of Darius. However, what people didn't realize is that the slow on Darius's W meant that you could walk out and get a heal on Fiora. Like, it was a very intricate matchup. Anyway, so pretty much EDG take the Fiora into Darius matchup versus this team called TSM. They don't really rate Darius all that much, and Darius absolutely smashes Amazing J. Like, this is just how the story goes. So Amazing J after that was like, I refuse to play this matchup. I refuse to ever play Fiora into Darius again. And in fact, for the whole of Worlds, if you go back and watch it, he actually picks Darius as a counter pick. And apparently it's because of that one scrim where Darius just absolutely monstered him on it. Amazing J was a huge Garen fan, so he played Garen in the LPL before. Like, don't ask me why. With the Jarvan jungle and weird stuff. But so he loves Darius, and he's actually a quite good Darius player, so I'm excited to see him pull it out here against IMA.
You know, Jarvan jungle with Garen sounds like the real Beyblade arena, not that Sivir Kindred thing that we see very commonly here.
Yeah, that's where it started. That is where it started.
So we are going to see him play the Darius one more time here. What can we expect from this champion? Because it's been quite some time since we've seen a Darius in competitive fight.
All right, Darius has a huge self-healing. That's the biggest thing, right? So if you hit multiple people with the actual end of your axe, not with the handle of your axe, you get a lot of health back. He also has the dots that stack up, right? And the change was that when it gets to 5 and, you know, you start executing people with your ultimate, you auto-attack them once, they go immediately to 5 dots, and your ultimate's doing this ridiculous amounts of damage. So you really do have to watch out for that. He gets a huge boost of AD when he gets to 5 dots as well. Pretty much, you go Black Cleaver, full tank, and you do massive amounts of damage. His weakness has always been you can't catch people, easily kiteable by good AD carries, and the fact that he has no engage for himself. I mean, Flash Pull is the only thing you're hoping. So there are big windows where you can punish this champion, but as far as like low elo solo queue, get on him. He still wrecks people.
I can agree. I've been wrecked by quite a few Darius' solo queue. I don't like playing against that champion. In fact, try not to play that champion whenever I can, because he's an absolute monster when he starts to get ahead or just starts to get on top of anyone, to be honest. He's up against a Trundle here who, you know, in recent meta, we see Trundles usually win their top lane matchup, do fairly well.
You do, and because Trundle saps AD away from you as well as with his Q, as well as all these resistances, right? However, what you have to acknowledge is the fact that Darius is not going to go tank first item. He's probably going to go towards Black Cleaver. So Trundle doesn't really get anything out of his ultimate in the laning phase.
So let's see how this lane matchup's going to come about. So far, IMA look like they want a lane swap here, sending RNG, want to lane swap, sending Loop into the bottom lane. Interestingly enough, though, Marta has not picked up any items on this Braum. Don't think he quite realizes it right now. It might be a little bit too late for him to head back to base and pick up those items.
Yeah, it certainly is too late. So, you know, sometimes you just don't want to shop fish.
Whoops. Mistakes were made.
You know, no discounts were in the store this week, so he just kept his money for another day.
Well, both of the bottom lane AD carries and supports are going to be able to take away a Krug camp, as we do see that lane swap coming out from the spectator showing us he has no items here. We are going to see the lane swap coming out from the RNG lineup, which forces the 2-on-1 up in the top lane. Mar's actually heading back to base.
Yeah, that's actually really bad for Marta because he has to go back to get the gold regen item, but that's going to put their lane swap significantly behind. So not a good news story out of the support of RNG. See how quickly you can get back to lane and try and get that lane swap into effect. They might even need MLXG to join, to be honest, because that's a fairly brutal start to a game.
It certainly is. Unfortunately, another technical difficulty has spawned here. We'll have to wait a while before we get back onto the Rift here. So RNG, lane swap coming out here, trying to dodge the Darius lane it could possibly be?
Yeah, 100%. Like that's not a possibility. I can tell you right now that they lane swap because they don't want to play Darius early game. The only way that you would do that is if you had a camp top lane style of champion, something like a Maokai, that you felt like, you have Maokai Kindred. Okay, even though they've got Darius, we will beat you in this 2v2. They don't have that. They have the Trundle, so, they just want to try and avoid it as much as possible.
Good stun coming out there from Bamey in the mid lane, stunning Xiao, who as soon as he comes in for a trade, does lose that trade though. But we are now going to see Mata return up towards the top lane. Doesn't have his gold generation item. Picked up a vision ward for himself as well.
And you can see that straight away, IMA swap back. They match it. So this is something that RNG used to do a lot, was actually match the lane swap, and we'll see whether RNG jockey for position. Now you can see Mata already heading towards the bottom side of the map.
Which means they're going to try and swap back and stop this swap from taking place.
No, actually it doesn't. Not right now. Uzi's still heading towards the top side of the map, so Mata might just be going down there to drop a ward or get an early cheeky gank in. Now Uzi's heading down there. They're swapping back. Well,
Mata's been pulled around the map a little bit since he didn't buy items at level 1, losing quite a lot of experience. Have to keep tabs and see if he, progressively doesn't level up in time here, as he's still level 1 here against Rhodes level 2.
They can actually dive here if Amazing J isn't careful. I mean, they've stacked up a huge minion wave. They're sending 4 members down.
Amazing J taking a little bit of damage there from Looper.
Making sure he can't trim the wave. They want the huge wave crashing into the turret.
Every little bit counts. So Voiless is down this lane as well. You can see Bard trying to rotate down, but it's not going to be enough. Bamey, meantime, takes a little bit of damage here from Xiaohu, and they get forced off this way. They're going to lose all that experience.
Forced so much away from this wave, and that is why it is so dangerous to match the lane swap, because it starts so much further back. You get this massive wave crashing into the turret, and now all of a sudden, it is only Jin Zhao in the top lane trying to shove that one in.
Xiaomi to eventually return to the lane, but now they've got 3. Uzi going to get hooked in towards turret range. Doesn't quite take the aggro though, and is able to jump straight back out. The teleport also being used here on RNG side of the map. Looper heads up to the top lane, going to be able to soak up all this experience that has gently crashed on towards his turret.
Can you gently crash?
I don't know. Looks like it.
I think if you crash, you just crash, mate. I don't think there's anything gentle about it.
Well, violently crashed on towards the turret.
Thank you. That's better. Then I actually, you should have said waves. Waves gently crash sometimes, and I would have agreed with you. That was a test, Fish.
So I failed the test?
Nah, it's all right.
Meanwhile, though, we are going to see how much he, put back, give Voiless a taste of his own medicine from game 1. Invade deep in towards his side of the jungle. Takes away a couple of camps. Road might actually be able to find him here.
And you can see that, this is the respect that you should give when you are counter jungling. You shouldn't go over aggressive as soon as he knows that the Bard is coming in at all. He just completely backs away. Now we have a very strange lane swap, because we're literally going to have an old school 2v1. Whereby the top laner just tries to get as much... Wow, okay.
They're looking for this dive here. Mason J, he's been exhausted, tries to pull Mata back in, who flashes back out, and first blood goes on over towards Uzi, cleanly executed from the RNG lineup.
That's actually really hard to execute upon, although it looks like both teams making their best shot at it.
Voiless, so taking a lot of damage here. It's actually looking for the kill. In fact, Xiaohu jumps back over, is able to find that one. Bamey trying to do what he can to return the damage, but the card doesn't come out fast enough. As that teleport is coming back in, MLG trying to do what he can to take down Bamey here. Instead, going to take a turret, and Amazing J's going to swing the axe here, and he's able to take him down.
All right, a much-needed kill for Amazing J, because he was starting to fall pretty far behind. Now Looper in all kinds of trouble.
Jin Zhao's going to be able to pick up that kill. Just uses the heal, and it's enough to keep himself alive underneath the turret.
Turret ramp up. OP Fish nearly takes down the AD carry in only 3 swings of that turret. So a very sloppy game from both teams means that RNG is slightly ahead right now. But not the ideal start on either sides of Summoner's Rift.
It's been a rather interesting start. Both teams picking up 2 kills, but like you mentioned, RNG do have the better end of that for now. Let's take a look at the items that have been picked up so far. Looper hasn't picked up quite too much, has the boots, a Ruby Crystal, the Doran's Blade coming out from his Trundle. And obviously the 2 long swords coming out from the Darius, moving towards the Black Cleaver as soon as possible. Jungler's not upgrading anything just yet. Lots of respect from Bamey, goes for the Negatron Cloak as his first item to reduce some of that damage coming out from Xiaohu in the mid lane.
Yeah, it has to be able to survive through that burst, especially because of the fact that he took the teleport, so, wants to make the global plays. It's more about pulling multiple gold cards than it is killing the LeBlanc in the mid lane. So get the lane shoving out. Make sure that you're in a position to be able to gank sideways.
You know, we can take a look at where these lanes have swapped into, so to speak. Looks like more standard lanes or Australian lanes were actually going to come out from IMA there. They tried to send Amazing J down to the bottom lane up against Looper, but still Uzi and Mata up on the top side of the map.
Yeah, now they're actually the ones that have swapped into a funny lane swap. So this has been a crazy early game. I mean, all of a sudden when IMA looked like they were executing on their win conditions, you know, getting the dive going, they're the ones that swap it back, trying to shove down that turret nice and early. See whether Uzi and Mata can also get something going along those lines.
One, Darius has caused this much confusion in the game, but the lane swap is now going to be executed the way we expect it to be, and that turret is going to fall down to both the top and bottom side of the map, as the Ocean Dragon is the first elemental dragon to spawn in this game. It's going to be taken down by the IMA lineup.
Yeah, so IMA grab first dragon, and you know, they get better position on the turret as well, take that down slightly earlier. We'll see whether RNG are able to push through here. They'll be able to make it hit the turret at least, so no deep freeze, but don't think any damage is going to go down on that turret. So you'd have to say that IMA, you know, a much better start to this game so far.
And they're keeping rather even in terms of gold with RNG. They're about, you know, 500 gold behind after the interesting swaps that have been coming in, but do have a dragon advantage for now. Let's see what happens after they take down these turrets. For now, it looks like they're going to continue the swap coming in as Uzi and Mata head down to the bottom lane to face off against Amazing J. We're going to see Jinjiao and Road head up towards the top side of the map.
And Xiaohu flirting with danger there, diving underneath turret whilst Baimi is pulling a card, trusting that the instant gold isn't coming out.
He's been rather aggressive here, Xiaohu, not afraid to dive on towards Baimi in the mid lane. I'm actually going to pull a lot of people towards the bottom side of the map here. They have Looper down the bot side as well.
Actually looking for an invade onto this red buff. We'll see whether they're able to get it.
Not quite, as Avoidless is able to smite that one away. Amazing J there.
Ooh,
he's going to get jumped
spear
on here. That's a big spear coming out. Has to flash away, but he's very low on health. Subjugate dealing lots of damage.
Ooh.
The spear is not going to get threaded to the minion wave. Amazing J will live with a sliver of health.
But all of a sudden they've actually pushed the defense back. So they have a chance for this turret to push through, and this is what we said. If you get the earlier push, you do have the chance to make the plays. In fact, now they're collapsing onto Baimi in the middle lane, who's dueling with Xiaohu.
Quite effectively almost there as well. Trades quite nicely. RNG, like you mentioned, are collapsing on towards mid lane. The Swissify has to be a little bit careful. There's the pillar coming out. Baimi does have a stun card. Not going to throw it out. They're not actually able to lock down that Swissify.
Yeah, so they missed the spear, they missed the chair after a great pillar out of Looper actually bounces him back towards the lane. So, unfortunate turn of events there for RNG. Now MLXG in a little bit of trouble.
He's able to take away his camp, and Voidless doesn't get the stack he was looking for. It's been a rather interesting early game.
This is a really peculiar early game. I mean, RNG, they do come out ahead about 500 gold, but I'm sure that they, you know, it hasn't gone the way that they would have hoped.
Nope.
Amazing J, he's still up like 10 CS and is well and truly on his way towards his Black Cleaver. So, Looper, you're going to have to fight him eventually. I'm sorry.
I'm really excited to see how the team comp from IMA pans out here, because we already mentioned very little engage coming from IMA's lineup for what is considered to be champions that require engage to deal damage. RNG have lots of disengage and lots of mobility in their lineup, so should be able to run away effectively from IMA.
Yeah, as I said, the exception really is Jin Zhao. I mean, I think that the coolest part of the Jin's kit is the fact that he has such a big slow on his ultimate. So if he is able to open with that in the team fight, and you know, it's hard because you have to stay safe while you're opening with it. That's why you see normally things like Jin Azir that can keep him safe. Shoving people off him. But teleport now into the top lane, Looper.
Looper has to be a little bit careful. Immediately flashes as soon as Baimi gets up there. Puts down the pillar. Amazing J doesn't have his own flash to follow up. Road takes a magical journey to safety to get away from this RNG lineup, trying to collapse on towards the support as well.
But straight away, Flash secured out of the top lane. So Amazing J, he's going to have a better time. Wave is also pushing towards him, so he can freeze for as long as he wants. It's going to be a hard match for Looper to claw his way back in towards.
Voidless taking a little bit of damage there from LXG. Xiaohu going to be able to lock down Road. Actually flashes forward to take a magical journey straight out of there, so gets out of the stun.
Yeah, and that's what they can't afford to do because right now Amazing J is growing his lead. He's going to become a powerhouse in a 1v1. So you want the rest of your map staying safe, farming up where they can, not being forced to flash away. Really is just a little bit of a mispriority of what should be their winning objective, because right now they should be throwing more things behind the Darius. You only pick it for one reason.
You take a look at the rest of the map and the items that have been picked up.
Uzi just cashed in a cull at 12 minutes.
120 CS.
That's impressive. He's quite a large Lucian at this stage of the game.
Especially during a prolonged lane, so he would have farmed 20 CS more than Jinja right now. Amazing J actually trying to turn the fight around against Lupa here.
Well, you can see that even in the 1v2, they want absolutely nothing to do with him.
Amazing J, though, taking a lot of damage here. He's got members collapsing on top of him. Xiaohu trying to now find a Voidless. Has to put down the ultimate very early. But he might not be able to escape this one. As LSG's only on the back end. Dashes forward. He's able to take him down. Good Temper Fate locks down 3. Amazing J trying to do what he can in the backlines, but he gets bursted down. Uzi's able to stop him from getting his ultimate off. The guillotine's not going to collapse. And now Baimi, he's going to take it down as well. Road is the next target. MOG diving deep underneath this turret. Jin Jiao has fallen. And Uzi's going to chase Road through the magical journey to pick up the triple kill and the really early ace coming out from RNG.
And this is why you just don't give Uzi Lucian. He goes absolutely bonkers on the back end of that team fight, but it really was just an overcommit from IMA. Let's see it one more time. They have the members moving up here. They think we can fight 2v2, but what they don't take into consideration is that 3 more members from RNG are so close. A Voidless gets chunked out. I mean, has to burn the ultimate nice and early. And then, even though a great Bard ulti comes across, just everyone else from RNG arrives beforehand. Uzi grabs Amazing J, then just puts on the ice skates afterwards and just starts dashing forward and pumping out massive amounts of damage.
And RNG, a very early ace. I think it's 13 minutes into the game they picked this one up, securing a huge advantage for themselves after the messy early game we saw come out from the 2 lineups.
And the problem is that RNG here pretty much put together 2 bully lanes. And they were on bookends of the map, you know, so you got Bard, Jin, bully lane. We want to be able to take over the game. You know, Darius, he's just a bully written all over him. But a lane swap just counters so much of that. And RNG were able to jockey for position. As I said, Uzi was farming like a madman. In a lane swap, 120 CS. 12 minutes, certainly good news.
Voidless tries to jump over the pit here to steal away that dragon. Has to flash back out to get away from the damage coming out. In fact, takes a lot in return. LeBlanc trying to find that assassination for himself. Not going to quite get it.
Oh, you say that, but Xiaohu's underneath him.
Oh, he finds him one more time. Is able to find that assassination. Now Aimee are trapped here. Jin Jiao flashes over and finds LeBlanc straight into his face. Gets the chains out. Another distortion back in. Picks up the double kill there for Xiaohu. He's going unstoppable as Ruzi picks up a kill for himself as well.
Yeah, Ruzi gets another kill as well, as you said. But yeah, this is now becoming a bloodbath because RNG are everywhere on the map and really not being given any respect from this IMA lineup. And, you know, we said that the game 1, they're able to stick with them for a lot of the game. This is already a 5,000 gold lead at only 15 minutes in, and Uzi is pretty much a full item ahead of his counterpart.
He's got the Yoma's Ghostblade looking for a Black Cleaver very shortly. Jin Jiao, he's got an interesting build here on the Jin. He has the components of what should be a Yoma's Ghostblade, but I don't think he's going to pick that up.
No, Yoma's will be picked up. We've seen a couple of Jins going towards that. Yoma's into IE. Certainly seems to be a popular build right now.
He's got another longsword.
Another longsword is the one that confuses me. Yeah. If he goes like Yomu's Black Cleaver, that is a little bit confusing.
Let's see what he does pick up, because there is a Black Cleaver for Amazing J picked up on the IMA roster already.
Okay, so between Jin Jiao and Amazing J, they still don't have the item build that Uzi has. That's a scary prospect. He's 40 CS up. He's 5-0-1 right now.
And we've seen what Uzi can do. Last game had a pretty impressive, I can't do words today. Impressive performance on his Ezreal.
Teleport coming in nice and deep.
Actually trying to look for Baimi. He teleports out of there immediately. Not going to get interrupted by the passive coming out from Mata. Jin Jiao now might be in a little bit of trouble. Here comes Xiao, who can't quite land the chain. The chair gets chucked out and is going to miss the Jin. Yeah,
so Jin able to scurry away. But really, right now, there is not all that much that IMA can do to staunch the bleeding here. 5 members strong from RNG, sieging down this middle part of the map. And they can just dive. So honestly, IMA need to respect this unit.
It's a 5,000 gold lead for the RNG lineup, close to 6. And it will be 6 when this turret falls down. Uzi picks that one up for his team. And RNG Just 17 minutes into this game, already looking so much stronger than they did at this point last game.
Yeah, 100%. You know, when you have a look at it, it's going to be a change up in item builds as well. Xiaohu, he's going to go towards what will be a Luden's Echo. He's just going to be able to pop someone whenever he wants. Uzi on a much earlier spiking AD carry. No tier this time around. Doesn't have to go for that scaling. We'll go towards probably a Zeal item next and just look to completely dominate the map.
And like you mentioned, his items just completely match the damage threat coming out from Amazing J and Jinjiao put together have the item build that Uzi has at the moment, which is massive for RNG's lineup. Even like Shi, he's got a Rod of Ages picked up on his Italy here. He is a big damage threat for the RNG lineup.
Yeah, certainly is. And going that scaling build, I mean, he feels like he's that far ahead that he doesn't have to go for the instant power of something like the Rylai's Crystal Scepter. Does just grab himself the overall more gold-efficient item there of the Rod of Ages. Of course, the heal is going to help a lot in these team fights for Uzi, so being able to pick that one up nice and early is a good news story.
As it stands though, RNG just very content with farming for now. Not trying to be the aggressors that they were
And
previously.
look at this. This is the difference between the two teams. As soon as RNG go for this invade, Uzi leaves a creep wave, starts walking towards the blue buff. He understands he has to be there to be able to answer any pressure that can come out of IMA. In game number 1, whenever a Voidless were going for the plays, it was solo. His lanes weren't respondent, and he was getting caught out time and time again. So I do feel that this series just shows the polish that RNG has in their 5-man unit.
And they're slowly taking objectives and small camps away from the IMA lineup, suffocating them on their own side of the rift, forced to farm underneath their turret in the lanes that move towards their side of the map. RNG have complete control over the river especially, which means when Baron spawns in the next 50 seconds and Dragon in a minute 30, they're going to have complete control of those objectives as well.
Yeah, 100%. You know, you can see that they're once again content going into their 1-3-1. Uzi actually picked up the QSS, something that he was more than happy to do in years gone past.
That's a lot of damage down on towards Bamey there. Pops the Omens, goes for a little bit of extra movement speed. But an ultimate, Kurtzikor is going to actually come out from Jinjiao there. Misses Uzi with the first tick and hits Matsu with the other 3. And, you know, Jinjiao tries for something, can't quite find it.
Yeah, but at least they're looking for some proactive plays because we already said that game 1 got away from them way too early. So they're trying to hit back this time around, but RNG just a little bit too far ahead. Uzi can't be chunked out the way they needed to.
A little bit too far ahead. It's now 7,500 gold in RNG's favor. They are monstrous 20 minutes into this game. It's not looking good for the IMA lineup.
Amazing J really isn't even as far ahead as he would like to be. They put a lot of resources into this man. 30 CS up. Should be able to do a lot of good things, but when you have a look at Looper, he's got 5 assists to his name, as well as all that outstanding gold. I mean, the extra 2 turrets that have been picked up by RNG, so really not as far ahead as you would like to be if you are Amazing J at this stage of the game. Looper goes for a little bit of a variety bucket build. I mean, has 3 components, as well as the Tabias.
For now, the RNG looking to try and take down this Infernal Dragon. 20 minutes into the game, it's Dragon number 2 for the team, and the 3rd Dragon to spawn in this match. And taking down one of these, as the next Dragon to spawn will be another Ocean Dragon, but that's 2 Infernal Dragons for the RNG lineup.
And you can see that Amazing J just can't even go with Xiaohu at this stage of the game. There's a 2-level discrepancy, as well as that Rift Herald gets tagged up by the spear, gonna get executed.
That last sort of attack, not gonna be enough. Amazing J still able to live.
And Bamey actually teleported in. Now he needs to be careful because Xiaohu's still down there, as is the rest of the team.
Well, unless she was trying to thread the spear in between the creep wave, couldn't quite get it. They're not going to be able to defend this turret though, and the bottom lane in the turret will fall down for RNG.
So RNG, step by step, just taking the map away from IMA. This has been much more clinical, nearly surgical in the operation. I mean, they're just dissecting them limb by limb. It's not really all that much IMA can do. They went for a risky draft. They needed to get the early snowball. Maybe Looper caught.
They might try and take some small advantage here by catching out Looper. They've got 4 men strong trying to chase this Trundle down. He's very tanky though, going to take a lot of damage, but eventually does fall down. Kurtzikor does get popped there by Jinjiao, looking to try and find something.
They're looking for Marta.
They're looking to try and collapse on towards this Braum. Not quite able to lock him down. Flashes away from the Temper Fate that came out of Road.
So in the end, they do get the pick. I mean, they nearly get 2. Marta had to flash away. So good job from Aime. As I said, they're running a very cute composition that needs to be able to get these kills and transition them into gold leads. They weren't able to do it earlier in the game, but if they can make a couple more plays like that...
That's just not good.
Well, that's not good actually out of a Voidless, because he burns the ultimate and doesn't burn it early enough to save Rhodes. So, you know, just multiple miscommunications there out of Aime. And you can see it's just starting to cause cracks in the team.
Certainly is, as Aime. You know, they're just trying to hold on for their dear life at the moment. RNG just slowly pushing in towards this base. And slowly taking every single objective and every single camp even away from the Aime lineup. The only thing they can really farm right now are the 3 waves that move on towards their turrets.
Yeah, and as we said, like, Uzi is so far ahead. Goes towards what will be a Merc Scimitar quite soon. Picks himself up pretty much all the components of that one. Another needlessly large rod picked up for Xiaohu. MLXG going towards Azonia's Hourglass. Lupa is threatening to complete an item fish, which I just never thought would happen.
He's trying his best. He still has 5 components. You never know. He could sell that corrupting potion and get something else. Meanwhile, Xiaohu looking to try and take down Road. Misses the chain, but it might not even matter, as that's a lot of damage down towards the Bard, but they're turning their attention towards a Voidless and Bamey, who both flash out of the way from the ultimate coming out of the Bard. Destiny comes out, trying to get away, but that's Jin Jiao getting jumped on top by Uzi. He's going to flash aggressively forward. Does get stunned down by the Twisted Fate. He doesn't care. Pops the QSS. Now looking for more. He's dashing into the base. He's able to find the Twisted Fate. He still wants to take down more. Amazing J, though, might threaten this solution. Hooks it forward, but here comes Xiaohu helping out his AD carry. Amazing J goes down. Curtain Call is going to come out, but Uzi just stands still right behind the Braum, who jumps in front of the AD carry to save him there. But that's 4 picks coming out from RNG.
Yeah, and time again, RNG just showing that they are the more aggressive and well-oiled lineup in this series. Able to dash into their base this time around and still pick up the 4 kills. Really nothing Aime can do. They pick up the blue buff on the way out. They're going to head towards the Baron, and RNG right now just look unbeatable.
And this should be an easy Baron pickup coming in for the RNG lineup. They're 15-3 in terms of kills right now, and they're 12,000 gold ahead of Aime, just 25 minutes into this game. Things are not looking good for the young LSPL lineup.
Yeah, 100%. But once again, just got to echo that Aime needs to be given time. It's seasons since the last LSPL team, QG, so pretty much a year, was able to come in and, you know, dominate in any form of fashion. LPL is a huge league, and with the imports and with how good the main league is becoming, LSPL very much is hard to crack in and become a top 4 team straight away. So Aime, the fact that they're even this competitive against the best team in the LPL, this is the MSI representative after all, with Uzi now added to the lineup, is a good thing for the young team. And this is why I just said, like, you know, people shouldn't get ahead of themselves with Aime. They need to be given time. They're a young team. They're playing a 7-man roster. They need to be able to figure out and make it work. And losing against RNG in this fashion definitely isn't a slight. Just shows how good the best in the LPL currently is.
You know, speaking of Uzi, he's 8-0-3, has that Scimitar picked up, as well as the Yoma's Ghost Blade and Black Cleaver, looking for a Zeal item as his next pickup. He is a devastating force to be reckoned with right now. 70 CS ahead of Jin Jiao.
He's huge. Like, outright, he is just massive at this stage of the game. And they're jockeying between 2 lanes.
Looking for the bottom lane inhibitor turret. Pillar does come out from Lupa there, trying to catch out Bamey. Doesn't quite do the job, but still forcing them to back away. Curtain Call actually being used here. I think that one should be cancelled, but instead tries to get something out of it. Can't quite use it for any effect, and now another inhibitor is just going to fall down for RNG. They're just storming through the base.
Yeah, 100%. There's absolutely nothing they can do. In fact, they take a group magical journey back towards the fountain. And we'll see whether they try and make the one play. You saw that Jin Jiao already used the ultimate. They have to go now.
Well, they've got to do something here because the next turrets are falling. Jin Jiao, he's going to burst it down. Another ultimate from a Voidless, not going to save an ally. So it's a key ultimate used. Bamey, you're not meant to be on that side of the map. It's going to be difficult to try and trade 4 members or 5 members of RNG inside of your own base. They're looking for the Nexus. Destiny is being popped, just putting the eyes on the RNG members that they can already see. They're fighting them on top of the fountain. Amazing J falls down. Uzi dies to the turret laser, as Amazing J will be able to shut him down, but it's not going to matter as this Nexus is going to fall down, and RNG pick up a very clinical win here against Aimee.
Yeah, they certainly do. So in the end, RNG is just way too good. Aimee, they try and stall and allow the Twist of Fate to make a miracle play, but it's not going to happen.
Nope.
And you have to say that the young players, they look a little bit down on themselves. Couple of cheeky grins on their face from what was a brash late game decision. But, you know, sometimes it happens. RNG just way too good.
And they showed why they are the best team in the LPL at the moment, especially in their group. You know, MSI representatives only got stronger when they brought Uzi into their lineup.
I think it's more than fair that when you have a look at the two teams, I mean, we're always going to talk about EDG, RNG. They're the two best teams in the LPL, but the amount of stability currently in RNG, when you compare it to EDG, I mean, EDG are playing with Mouse, they're playing with Scout. They've got two new solo lanes. Like, you can't expect EDG to be able to do what RNG is doing right now because RNG took an AD carry that plays a similar playstyle, way better, and just strict upgraded their roster after already beating EDG. RNG have to be the team to beat right now in the LPL.
And you know, Spring Split, we saw RNG were playing around with Name, trying to see if they could field him as the AD carry. Then they fielded Ushen a little bit more, especially throughout MSI, where they only fielded Ushen. And Uzi, pretty much a strict upgrade for an RNG lineup, but it's showing with every single game they play here in the Summer Split of the LPL.
And kind of in both ways. I mean, when Name and Uzi were the two biggest AD carries in the LPL, one was a very good laner that had very bad decision-making and would go off in games, right? That was Uzi. Name, very controlled. When you were on a team with like Name, the old EDG, they were very much happy to just not play anything until about the 30-minute mark. Team fight with great compositions and let Name control the pace of the game. Uzi has become a much better team fighter, and RNG is a really good team fighting team. So the fact that they've got such a lane-dominant AD carry that can now team fight kind of merges the best of what they were trying to achieve by having Name, by having Wushin on the lineup.
And, you know, we look at their opponents here today, Aimee. You know, there were some signs of life in game number one. Good teleport gangs coming out from the team. But game two just felt like their hopes and dreams were getting crushed by RNG.
Well, what happened in game number two is they picked themselves into a really narrow win condition. And that's not a bad thing. People think that's a criticism. But what you have to be able to do is execute on it. So they needed deeper vision. They needed to be able to scout out a lane swap and guarantee standard lanes for the Darius to be able to put in work early game. They didn't get them. So, as I said, that's not a criticism. They just have to go away from this game, figure out how to get standard lanes when they do pick a cute composition like that, be able to unlock the Twist of Fate, unlock the Darius, and be able to take over the map. So I do think that, yeah, sure, their team composition didn't work out. They're going to probably cop a lot of criticism. You know, they're running Darius. No one else does that. You know, you're running TF into a LeBlanc player. That's suicide. And there are some things that are wrong with that. But they did have engagement out of their bottom lane, and it was a cool composition. They just weren't able to make it work against the league's best.
And, you know, we saw them trying to salvage that by moving around the map, but it didn't quite work out there either. As we take a look at the MVP for game number two, it's going to go over to Uzi one more time here. 8-1-4. With 32% of his team's damage share. He was a monster in that game.
Yeah, he certainly was. And, you know, the Lucian has always been something that Uzi has been able to excel on. I think that it's a very brave pickup to be able to give to the man. And this was the triple kill that he was able to pick up, just continually dashing forward and outputting so much damage.
He's a talented man. He had a phenomenal spring split for Chaogu, now known as Newbie, and has found his home on the RNG lineup, and it's definitely impressing people with his performance here.
Yeah, 100%. And, you know, Newbie were very vocal about the fact that Happy, back then TNT, was better for the team, and therefore they were going to split time between the two. Uzi turned into a team-fighting AD carry. I mean, he'd already tried to make the transformation when he played for OMG, got dropped there, you know, didn't have the best relationship with his other team members, goes over to QG. From all reports, fantastic team member, more than happy to split time with Happy. Happy was able to play some games. Uzi, in the end, took the starting spot, but Happy was still coming off the bench in games that he needs him. Now moving over to RNG, Happy is playing good League of Legends again over on Newbie, who need to get better because they're a team that I'm looking at. They should be making a late push. But Uzi on RNG just looks like he's meshed into the team. He's always smiling. He's such a positive guy now. I really do think this is one of the best evolutions in League of Legends history, where we saw a 16-year-old kid that was not used to high-pressure situations playing at World the first time Starhorn Royal Club came there, to now seeing an adult 4 years later that is a really good teammate and happy to do what he needs to. You know, we see some games he picks up the Sivir, plays a role player. Other games, Caitlyn, more of a, you know, sieger. This game, grabs Lucian, teamfight AD carry, so he'll just smash people with it. It's really fun to watch.
So does that mean we're not going to see Ushin come back to the lineup? You know, he's sitting as a substitute now for RNG. He did play well in MSI, but he's not quite Uzi, is he?
We are never going to see if like Uzi doesn't break. That was even Insect. So if Uzi doesn't do an Insect and break his leg, we won't see Wushin play. No, Wushin, great young AD carry. Like I said it before, MSI. I think people underrate him and sleep on him. He has bad decision making sometimes. You know, rush of blood, but and he really is a frontline AD carry, but highly mechanical. Brilliant at times to watch. Took it to death in the last LPL final. So yeah, I like Wushin, but he's nowhere near Uzi-esque.
So we take a look at their opponents here today. You know, they played up against IMA, had a interesting run. Game number 1 just got completely smashed almost in game number 2 there. But what can we expect from this young SPL lineup? Because, you know, they're sitting at the middle of the pack now. They've taken games off, you know, teams below them. They tried to take down Vici, which was a hard-fought best-of-3 match for them as well. What can we expect from them moving forward? Because, you know, they showed signs of life, just not enough cohesion from the team, you could say.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting because they had a great teleport play in game 1 that was like really nice. I mean, that shows a great understanding of the fact that the Maokai can't follow, that we're not going to lose massive waves into the turrets, you know, that the LeBlanc had already burnt her teleport and we had our jungler there first. So there are certain things that I may do and you're like, that's a really smart play. The thing is that they will do a smart play and then they'll overreach for their second play and they'll give all of the benefit back towards the other team. And a great team will make the first play and then slap their hand away, be like, no, we don't need to make the second play. And when I may make that decision-making process, when they realize that they don't have to overreach, they will get much better.
And you know, this is a team another team with the 7-man roster. We touched on it briefly earlier. We didn't see Mithy or Athena play today, but is this starting to look like more who they're going to play? You know, throw Voidless and Bamey into their matches a little bit more. They're very content with their bottom lane now. Is this the lineup that we're going to see behind maybe a bit more? Are they still experimenting with that 7-man?
All right, so in my opinion, a Voidless is better than Mitty, previously Firelily. So I think yes for the jungle position. I'm up in the air because Athena had a really poor game, and then they played Bamey, who had a great week, and then Bamey has had a couple of poor weeks since then. So I think that Athena, Bamey, I'm still out for, and like the team will know best. I always say this about substitutes. They play their subs for a reason. They know who clicks well together. So like I really do have faith in IMA. They're a great led organization for a first split. I really think it's much of a muchness with the two mid laners, but for me, jungler is the important position. Voidless is better mechanically. As soon as he tidies up that decision making, he'll be a really good jungler in the LPL.
I'm just taking a look at a few highlights of that second game.
Great.
RNG dive just straight into the base here. Uzi,
he heals himself. He was like, how dare you gold card me? How dare you? Heals himself, dashes over a wall, blows up the AD carry. I mean, that's just brash play, and it's so fun to watch out of one of the world's best. I mean, his mechanics have never been questioned. Now that he's starting to get that team element there, Uzi is like very much on top of his game.
It certainly was a great game to watch. That was RNG taking on IMA, but we're going to go into a quick break here. We're back with the final best of 3 series tonight, which is going to be LGD taking on OMG. Don't go anywhere, we'll be right back.